Hey friends, it's been a really long time since we've done a show, but now that the holidays are upon us, it seems like a fun idea to try to go through one long complicated recipe in just a few minutes and show you how to make some really delicious almond macaroons with chocolate ganache. So, the first thing is that when I started making these cookies the other day, all I had were whole almonds with the skin on, but this recipe calls for blanched almonds. So I had to learn how to blanch almonds. I'm going to show you really quickly. It's pretty easy. What you do is you take some almonds and you plunk them in boiling water. Then you fish them out, let them dry, and just squeeze them right out of their skin. Whoop, here, we'll do that again. So you have a very wet almond, and you just squeeze it right out of its skin. Now these almonds have been soaking in the water for well over a minute. If you want to make sure your almonds stay crispy, you'd only leave them in for 1 minute. They're not quite as easy to skin at that time, but if you boil them a little bit longer and you want to use them right away, you can always put them in a low heat oven, maybe 150-degree oven, dry them out again until they get nice and crunchy. So we're going to take these blanched almonds along with some other blanched almonds that we already measured out, and we're going to pop them right in the food processor. So there we go, all almonds. I think this is, the recipe calls for 3 1/4 cups of blanched almonds, and you just pulse those until they're powdered. After you make a nice crumbly powder, you take a measuring cup and you remove a cup of the almonds. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm only doing a half recipe, but I'm telling you the proper amount so you can do this recipe at home. Start with 3 1/4 cup of whole almonds and take out a cup, and then set those aside. You're going to add them back in when you're making the cookies. So then what we do is we take sugar, 2 2/3 cup of sugar, and let's see, how much is this really? Yeah, this is the half recipe I'm doing. So, but you'll want 2 2/3 cup of sugar, and you're going to pulse that until it's really well incorporated. About 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, then the recipe calls for 6 egg whites. Got my egg whites in here already done. And then we're going to leave it on for a little bit longer, maybe 30 seconds. Let's see. So basically what you're doing here is you're making your own almond paste. You can of course buy almond paste, but using fresh almonds and sugar allows you to control how sweet you want your cookies. These are not going to be as sweet as ones made with almond paste. And I think it actually just gives it a better taste altogether. And it's fun to do things from scratch once in a while when you have the time. So what we're doing now is transferring this almond paste that we made into another bowl, because we're just going to fold in the other ingredients. I think the folding helps the batter keep its lightness, and those eggs got pretty nicely whipped up in here. So this is the time when you're going to fold back in those almond crumbs from the first round of almond crushing, and then we're going to add a little bit of almond extract. So this recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of almond extract. I put that in half just because it can be a pretty strong flavor, and I always know that our kids like to eat these cookies, and I guess they're not crazy about a strong almond taste. So I only use 1 teaspoon for a whole batch. First I'm folding in these ground almonds from before. Then I'm going to take the almond paste. I'm just going to estimate this. I wouldn't do this if I were trying to do it perfectly, but it's going to be good anyway. And just about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm using Celtic Gray, finely ground. So by the way, I've always said this before, but I always use really good organic eggs, organic sugar that's minimally processed. I just think it all makes things taste better. Okay, so now this is the batter that's ready to make into cookies. So I've got a cookie sheet lined with parchment, and I have a small ice cream scoop that's going to make it a little bit easier to get uniform sized balls. Now, what I didn't say, did I say before? These are sandwich cookies, so we're going to eventually take these cookies and smear a layer of dark chocolate ganache in the middle. So it's nice if you can get a kind of uniform sized cookie. Also, of course, they bake more evenly. So I'm filling this cookie sheet with little scoops of almond dough. And if you have gluten-free friends, you'll be happy to know you don't have to modify this recipe for them. There's no flour, no grains, just almonds and sugar and eggs, basically. So we're going to fill this cookie sheet, and I think these need to bake in the 350 oven for about 7 minutes. And we're probably taking lots of time now, so I'm going to show you that we've already got a batch that's ready to come out of the oven. And is it ready? It's not quite ready. Of course, we have a batch that's over here. I'm going to grab it. Okay, so these cookies came out a little while ago, and they are cooled down enough to spread some ganache. But first I want to show you how you make the ganache, because it's so easy, really. It is. You can take 4 ounces of dark chocolate. This is 65%. Crush it up. I just crush it right in the package. You can chop it finely if you're in a hurry to have things melt. I'm not in a hurry to do the prep, but we're going to put that in there. And this is 1/2 cup of whipping cream that I've scalded on the stove. See, nice and creamy. I'm just going to pour that over the chocolate. That was 4 ounces of dark chocolate to 1/2 cup whipping cream. That's going to have to sit there for a little while, get soft, and then I'm going to whip it up and let it cool. But of course I do have a batch that I've already made. Here it is. It's nice and spreadable. And I'm going to take this cookie right here. Okay, it's hard to work fast. Oh, these just come right off. And I'm going to take 2 that are similar size, and I'm going to spread some ganache on them, on one of them. Smush it together, and there we have a beautiful almond macaroon with chocolate ganache. If you want to know where the full recipe comes from, just go out and get this delicious flour bakery cookbook by Joanne Chang. It's all good.